Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Privileged to be the Chief of Staff for United States Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. You may have heard of him. And let me tell you, it is excellent to be at CPAC. I've come to CPAC for each of the last 20 years. I've always found it to be the best event of the conservative movement. It's best for networking, best for fellowship, and frankly, best for intellectual development. And CPAC is really emphasizing that this year, the intellectual development portion. It's no longer going to be good enough to come to CPAC and just leave here with a bunch of business cards. We should all be better armed with ideas and strategies that could help each of us be better soldiers for liberty in our home communities, across America, and frankly, across the world. This session today will highlight three different approaches to conservatism: classical conservatism, populist conservatism, and libertarian conservatism. Classical or traditionalist conservatism emphasizes such things as natural law, unchanging moral principles, and history as a guide for modern behavior. Populist conservatism emphasizes such things as political immediacy, close adherence to the wills of vocal citizens, and of course a deep distrust of political institutions and corporations. Libertarian conservatism emphasizes such things as individualism, a laissez-faire approach to certain social policies, and a higher threshold for American military intervention abroad. Today, momentarily, we'll have three separate standalone speeches from individuals who represent each of these three branches of conservatism. The American Conservative Union was founded, and CPAC was created to help unite these three elements. And of course, while there are differences among these three elements, the great bulk of our priorities are united and aligned. Each speaker will explain the underlying philosophy of his conservatism and how that philosophy is reflected in his policies. I'll introduce each speaker when it's time to take the stage, and we'll go from there. Let's jump into our first speaker. Privileged today to have Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska. I'd like to get kicked off. Real quick, he represents the state of Nebraska, elected in 2014, spent the prior 5 years as president of Midland University in Nebraska, where he was one of the youngest college presidents in the nation. The 130-year-old Lutheran college was on the verge of bankruptcy when he arrived, but it soon became one of the fastest growing higher education institutions in the country by the time of his departure. Most of his career had been spent guiding companies and institutions through times of crisis. And I got to tell you, he really is one of the most thoughtful, principled, constitutionally minded senators that I've ever worked with in my 20-plus years in this town. And in Senator Cruz's office on the Hill, we work with him or his staff literally on a daily basis. And as he'll explain to you in a moment, we're just glad he's wearing a suit today and not his gym clothes. Please welcome Senator Ben Sasse.